We're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Newsn't. I'm here with Jack, my I guess regular guest or co-host, and two other people. You can't see them, but trust me, they're there.
In spirit, at the very least.
In spirit, yeah. They said they'd be here, so we'll just say. Anyway, we've got some cracking stories for you today. To an extent, and right, Jack, do you want to kick us off?
Shall I go first? Well,
you go first for once.
Shall I kick us off with a cracker? Well,
go on.
I will just lead with the title from Sky News. Pair hired for man's broom sexual fantasy turn up in wrong bedroom at wrong address with machetes. So this is a story straight out of some comedy movie. They were hired to fulfill someone's fairly aggressive fantasies, and they turned up at the wrong house. So they ended up tying up a random individual who was not the person who had ordered this.
No! Oh, so it was like a role play thing.
Yes.
And they were like,
yes. And the idea they were going to surprise the person, but they
I was
they went to the wrong place with.
I was
machetes.
wondering where they were. I was waiting for them all day yesterday.
This was in New South Wales. He's been acquitted.
Right.
The one of the men. I don't know about the other one. It just says one. The other one's going to prison forever.
Yeah. What the hell?
It was unscripted. There was supposed to be discretion, and it was supposed to be. He was supposed to be assaulted with a broom. They went to the wrong house and tried to tap.
And presumably, this person they thought was their client didn't know the safe word. And
I highly doubt it. He was worried. They had machetes, a broom, and a great big knife in his trousers.
You'd have to. Is that a great big knife in your trousers, or are you just pleased to see me?
Exactly.
It would be a bit awkward if you did sort of open with that as a joke, and it actually was either of those things.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I mean, I've always thought
I think it was.
That's weird, because best case scenario, that person has an erection.
Well, yeah, choose your best.
Worst case, they actually do have a.
They've brought a knife into your home and they're going to try and stab you. So
that's a great story. I like that a lot. Thank you for that. If you've just joined us, Jack has started off our weekend right.
The duo left with one saying, "Sorry, mate," and shaking the resident's hand, while the other said, "Bye."
Oh, right. So,
Very
they
casual.
did eventually figure out that this wasn't their client.
Yeah. No. Sorry, mate. Sorry, we tried to tie you up with machetes.
Sorry, mate. I feel like that's not an appropriate level of apology for.
No, it's just a machete. If it was a gun, then it could be more. But,
for assaulting someone with. Yeah. I feel like machete isn't less bad than gun in that situation.
Emotional trauma. That's I don't know. I'm trying to give them outs for this.
Wonderful. Well,
not really a crime.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you their defense attorney or something? Anyway,
I can neither confirm nor deny these accusations.
Anyway, thank you for that, Jack.
You're welcome.
That was a lovely bit of news. In slightly less light news. Well, I guess that's not really light news. That's quite horrible. But in other news, I want to talk a bit about comedy in Iran. This was quite a cool article I saw this week.
I'm sure they have a lot of freedom now, don't they?
Their state. One of their state broadcasters. They have a sitcom called Capital. It's just a standard sort of. It's their version of My Family or something.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's any good, but we have. hang on. I'm going to put that on hold because we have another guest.
Oh, it's a bonanza now.
It's Enoch. Hello.
Newsn't finally reaching 3 people.
Exactly. This is brilliant. Welcome to the show, Enoch. How are you?
I'm great. It's fantastic to be here. It's a bit early on a Saturday morning, but still.
It is, isn't it? I'm regretting this slot, but I'm stuck with it now. Anyway, you've met Jack.
You can change it.
Yes.
Hello, Jack.
Can I?
It's good to finally be on the same show as you.
Yes.
The honour of being on Newsn't is great. I actually
Yeah.
pay Scott a lot of money for this.
He does to advertise mini cheddars.
Yes, just for mini cheddar sponsorship.
But
I will get that.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for coming. How have you been? How's your lockdown been?
Well, Jesus. Long,
That bad.
tiring, a lot of work, but
Yeah.
I could have got coronavirus, but I didn't. So that's one.
That is good, but at the
Generally
same time,
seems to be a positive. That
at the same time,
Yeah.
would like to point out that you could still get it.
Okay.
It's-
Well,
not to be,
I haven't got coronavirus.
well,
yet.
it was a little bit too positive, and I just thought,
Thanks.
We don't do
That-
positive news here on Newsn't. It's all-
no, unless
all
you've
bad.
tested positive for the virus. Then, I was just talking about Iranian comedy. I don't know if that's a genre you have much familiarity with,
No,
Enoch.
unfortunately, I do not. I'm not
No?
a big fan of Iranian comedy. No.
No, oh, you're missing out. Maybe I don't know. I've not seen it. But there's this sitcom. That typically, it's a state broadcast. Typically toes the party line. So there was one particularly popular episode. They go in a series of hilarious slip-ups. They accidentally go on a balloon ride from Turkey to Syria and end up fighting jihadists alongside.
Well, of course.
That seems
Just
amazing.
typical,
Actually,
like Friends-style sitcom adventures.
Exactly. I think honestly, it's a bit trite. It happens in every.
It's too common.
Yeah, it's like shows Jump the Shark, or they've fought the jihadists.
Sometimes your sitcom just needs to involve terrorist.
It does. It really does. It's like if they're running out of ideas, what do they do? But there was a scene this week that emulated a pre-1979 Islamic Revolution film, and there have been calls for a boycott. And I thought it was interesting because the way it's taken, it's mostly on Twitter from quite young hardliners. Actually, it's very much, and I thought it was an interesting addendum to the whole cancel everyone last weekend with Doja Cat, which is a name that I literally had never heard until.
Never expected you to hear you say a word like that.
It was two words. Even I know it's two words, Jack.
Look, we don't do humanities.
No,
we don't need to know how to do words.
There's a couple of things to take from this. First of all, I find it quite comforting that in Iranian Twitter is rife with talk about problematic shows and people just as much as we are.
Yeah.
And
good to know.
And the other thing that is interesting is that state media, it's been losing viewers for years, much like our show has for weeks. And
we didn't have as many to lose, though.
No, that's true. They've been steadily declining in ratings. So what these young hardliners who are currently decrying this for being too Western are doing, the way they get people to watch is by airing shows like, and I quote, America's Got Talent is one of them. Very pious, Shire. It is Shire. Yeah, it is Shire.
Yeah, that's removing all of the Western.
I was going to say you've got to be careful with that because that can very much start a war. But if you get that wrong, but
you could just make your own version of Americans Got Talent. I feel like of all the things.
Well, exactly. That's the easiest show. It's the easiest show to adapt to your country. Literally just change the name.
Yeah, if you can't make your own version of America's Got Talent, just give up as a country.
Yeah, exactly. Then you've got TV wrong, haven't you? You don't understand how it works. But they're getting shows like that. They're getting, actually, we're talking about Friends and that sort of thing. They love American shows. They lure them in with all of that, and then they slide in the propaganda on the side. Ingenious, and again, exactly what we're doing here. We're just pretending that it's satire, but actually we mean everything, don't we?
Yes.
Yes, good.
We've never done satire here.
I guess I'm gonna have to cancel this show then, Scott. I think we're off the air.
Oh no!
What have we done?
Don't Doja Cat me. I'm not Doja.
Do you know how angry mini cheddars will be to lose
Mini cheddars they're powerful people over
They
at
really
Mini
are.
Cheddars.
They can make you disappear.
Yeah, exactly. It's into delicious,
We're all
slightly
afraid of them.
disgusting, powdery cheddar.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was quite an interesting story, and I sorry, I'm just slightly distracted because I have just got an ad for like signing up for an America's Got Talent style show. Britain's Got Talent, actually.
They never stop listening.
They're always listening.
Yeah.
Now I'm
at
getting
least
mini
one
cheddar
person is
ads.
definitely watching this show.
Yeah, yeah. I'm now getting mini cheddar ads. Anyway, that was some of the biggest news of the week, obviously.
Of course.
What other big news do we have? Enoch, do you have any that you sort of that?
Again,
No?
it's like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Sorry to put
Even if I knew any,
Sorry to put you on the spot, but
Do not fear.
I literally just woke up, saw your I think I stayed up to finish an essay. I texted you. You're gonna have a great show.
What have we
Fell
done?
asleep.
I saw that.
I woke up and I saw your message. It's like, oh, I did promise to go on the show, didn't I?
No, you
So I was like,
I feel bad.
We've killed a man.
Exactly. This is, and also I feel awful because this is so totally not worth it. Like,
It really
if
is
I were in your position, I wouldn't. No, there's no way I would be here.
Next week, actually, Scott's going to sleep through, and it's just going to be me.
Exactly. You're far too nice. It's just going to be Jack talking to himself,
and it's not going to be the important.
And we'll still get as many. Honestly, we'll get more viewers in because who wouldn't want to watch one man just go insane? Live?
Just get worse and worse news.
Exactly, as opposed to 3 people going slightly more into. Yes, I apologise for depriving you of much needed sleep on a weekend as well. It's not even like it's a working day. You grab a coffee. Honestly, just I have a Red Bull around here somewhere, but I'm resisting drinking it because I do want to go to sleep the second this is over. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Thank you. Anyway, we do appreciate you coming. Jack, do you have any? News?
I have some of the most important news in the world.
Do you? More important than the one you were talking about before.
Okay. A laboratory, I can't speak, assistant in
I
India.
thought you nearly said a labradoodle there, didn't you?
A labradoodle has been assaulted
they're
in India.
a bit different.
And had 3 samples of coronavirus blood stolen from them. Do you want to guess which despicable organisation could have done this?
Well, it's not Mini Cheddar, is it? I mean,
I would not be allowed to speak about this if it was Mini Cheddar.
No, that's true, and we should remind you other cheese flavored snacks are available.
But
including cheese, for example.
Cheese and just crackers, and you've got
actual. Just get actual cheddar. No, who was it? Like Peter or something? They're often behind.
Stealing them. The potential.
Peter, not the person. I mean, like I don't mean as in crouch. I mean as in with an A.
A group of particularly aggressive monkeys have been attacking lab assistants in India, and they're now making off with vials of coronavirus blood that were needed for research.
What?
So, all in all, if you're an important scientist, keep your work away from monkeys.
That is. That is
one
brilliant.
of the monkeys later was caught on video chewing one of the stolen samples while sitting in a tree.
Can they catch it?
I was just wondering that because it could be quite problematic.
That could be a real issue.
Medical experts have raised fears that the monkeys could cause the virus to spread more quickly.
That is, I mean, probably.
He was attacked by what they refer to as a troop of monkeys. So,
does it say what kind of monkeys?
No, there's a video. I'll have a quick look.
I like the ones for obvious reasons with the massive noses.
They're not those.
Proboscis monkeys, isn't it?
They're not those. They look sort of monkey-y.
They look monkey-y.
That's hopeful. That's a good.
David Attenborough, ladies and gentlemen.
I know. They've got ears. It's really blurry. They've got hands.
Ears. They've got ears. Thank you for that.
It looks like they have a tail. and they're also a colour that I can't really make
You're
out.
right. Okay. So we've
I
established that you
mean-
know what a monkey looks like.
Yeah, it could be a small child, but I'm pretty sure it's a monkey. 'Cause there's a big red
tail.
circle around it.
With
That's
a
what I assume
tail. What sort of playgrounds are you frequenting? Don't.
I don't
answer
know. It
that.
could be a dressed up gang of them that stole them. Pretend
Oh.
to be
Dressed up gang of children,
Yeah.
all dressed up as monkeys.
Yep.
All dressed up as monkeys. Very
This is
small
the-
children.
This
Presumably
is the
toddlers.
speculation section of the news here, where we
Yeah.
try and
maybe
work out
it is
what really
monkeys.
happened.
Well, that is great. I've also, believe it or not, great segue here. I've got some related news.
Oh,
Not monkey
interesting.
related,
That's a shame.
but it is. This is my favorite. This is my favorite headline, probably. It is, or it would be, if my computer hadn't frozen. Yes, here we go. So, the headline is: President queries Tanzania coronavirus kits after goat test. This is the president has suggested maybe the test kits they're using in Tanzania aren't quite perfect, since they tested it on a goat and it came back positive. Goats famously can't get, well, maybe not famously, maybe this is a fresh bit of news we're delivering to you. Goats,
Well, that's what Newsn't is for.
Yeah.
goats can't get coronavirus as far as we know.
Impressive.
There we go. But
You know,
yeah,
You can tell how broken my brain is, because for a second I genuinely thought you meant President Trump. And I didn't even question it. I
no,
was just
that,
like,
President,
Paul's Trump.
one
Of
president.
course, Trump's, commenting about Tanzanian goats
entirely
being tested
plausible.
coronavirus.
that is
Of course.
entirely plausible. As much as we don't like to sell out by, actually doing any real proper news on this show, we are going to have to talk about. We're going to have to bite the bullet and talk about Trump and the Minneapolis. Is it Minneapolis that?
Minneapolis?
Minneapolis. I mean, they're all basically just stupid names, aren't they? Anyway, we are going to talk about that at some point later on. But in the meantime, other news.
Other
Hong
important
Kong.
news is
I
What-
feel like Hong Kong has been sidelined a little bit because of all of the stuff going
It
on in the
has been.
States. It's still in the news a little bit, but it's not quite capturing people's imagination like it probably should be. Have you heard about what China's been doing over there, other than the general oppression?
I've heard some stuff.
Yeah, obviously there was China's basically throwing out the one country, two systems rule, aren't they? And
Yes,
now we're
essentially,
right,
yes.
starts again. It's all a whole.
Absolutely. There was yes. This is the news that China's national security bill for Hong Kong is designed to further terrify the protesters and quell opposition. It was passed without the Hong Kong legislature's knowledge, and all it does is give China greater powers, police powers, etc. Alleged virus, although obviously we all know it's not just that. Yes. And the quote is here. Interesting bit. The bill would prevent and punish any conduct that seriously endangers national security, including separatism, subversion of state power, terrorism, and activities by foreign and overseas forces that interfere in Hong Kong's affairs. So it's very clear that China are back on the America's causing the riots and the protests bandwagon.
Which I think, honestly, at this point, you have to give it up. America can't even deal with their own riots, let alone start causing riots in their own countries right now. Trump's not equipped for it. He doesn't have the skills. It's just not happening.
Exactly. But I thought one thing I've been seeing a lot on social media is comparisons between Hong Kong and the problems in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
How valid do you think they are?
Well, if you walk me through, what's the comparison you've been seeing a lot of?
So the one I've been seeing is essentially that actually, I've not actually seen anyone comparing them as such, but I've seen people calling out others' hypocrisy, like for example, how let's say, use as a placeholder liberals, because that's often who they're targeting it at. Vague anyway, they say liberals will, decry, or no, so-called, mid-range liberals will decry Hong Kong, would support the Hong Kong protests, but then go, say that this is too far, and the ones in the States, because it's too close to home for them, and lots of accusations of hypocrisy being thrown around. Do you think that they're comparable? I think they maybe are. I think they.
I think they are. But also, I do think there's a pretty big thing on Twitter where people just use the word liberal to mean whatever they want it to mean.
Exactly.
Personally, currently, I imagine I disagree with.
Exactly. So, it means different things in different countries as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like in America, liberal is often shorthand for democratic socialist or whatever.
Yeah.
It centre left, and then in France, someone says liberal, they hear sort of Joe Rogan style libertarian is
like classic liberals.
Yeah, classical
John Locke, that sort of thing.
Yeah, Daddy John Locke.
What a man!
What a man, Mr. Mill.
John Locke.
Yeah.
Very shriveled looking man.
My man. I was more a John Rawls man myself.
You're a Rawls man, are you?
Pin-up philosopher.
Dear. The Chad Locke versus the Virgin Rawls.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said it. Anyway, before we descend into obscure
aggression,
pure aggression
through
and obscure liberal theorists.
I mean, it's the content people want. I think it's on Saturday morning. What else do you want? But a full-on John Locke versus John Rawls.
That is true. That is how I start my day. Start my weekend most of the time. I think they're comparable. The other thing, of course, is back to Minneapolis. I think they are comparable because it is essentially rioting against police oppression. It is on that level. But the other thing is lots of posts and I think it's good that people are interested in. Sorry, just slightly distracted because a seagull has landed on my open windowsill.
Wonderful.
Doesn't matter. It's not coming.
Close it in. It'll be fine.
It's quite big. It's a herring gull.
Get the seagull.
It could be a guest.
Yeah.
I very nearly hit a seagull the other day because I was trying to eat my fish and chips in my well, not garden or balcony, but like a mini, not quite patio.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, breathing in all of the carcinogenic, all of the carcinogenic road dust because they're from the jackhammers on the other side of my wall.
Yeah.
A seagull swooped. Like there were 5 seagulls. One of them swooped down, pinched a chip, went for the fish, stopped him because I'm a bit of a badass. The Beast Master. The Beast Master, they call me. Anyway, it's okay. It's gone. As I was saying, what was I saying? Who knows?
You were talking about police oppression in Hong Kong.
Police oppression, yes.
You looked way too excited when you just talked about police oppression.
Sorry.
Someone's got to clip that bit of you saying police oppression and just post that everywhere and be like, wow, Scott's really a big fan of police oppression.
Trust me, there are worse sound bites.
To clarify, for Mini Cheddars exclusively, Newsn't is not pro-police brutality.
I'll decide whether we're pro-police brutality.
Okay, we might be.
I think you won't decide.
No, I won't.
No one will. This is an impartial news show. You have to keep that in mind.
That's true. It's impartial.
Enoch will decide.
So
we're neither for nor against it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's needed, but sometimes it's bad.
Maybe we can just not say that. Maybe that's something that can just not be said on this.
Maybe
Moving onwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, lots of people talking about the Minneapolis riots, saying, this is an illegitimate rioting with the looting and attacking people's businesses, and small businesses and that. And of course, the other side of the coin is that they're saying that that's no way to get change. The counter argument that you keep saying is, well, actually, yes, it is, because Boston Tea Party is often invoked. I don't know if you've
talked about a lot. Yeah,
that's being talked about a lot because they did the same sort of thing. That is essentially what that was, and it did kind of help the American Revolution. Now, I'm not saying that this is another American Revolution, but the police long overdue for some scrutiny in the States. I feel like it's the same. They need their. Have you seen the film Spotlight with the about the Catholic Church? I think they, that was the sort of thing. Like everyone sort of suspected or knew that it was happening before that an article came out, and now it's very much more in the popular consciousness. I feel like the American police are long overdue a spotlight moment.
Well, I feel like the issue is with American police. It's not like nobody knew they were doing this.
Exactly.
People have been videoing this for years. It's almost like it's as if in Spotlight there were regularly videos of what the Catholic Church was doing, just released on the internet, and people went, "Wow, that's bad," and then nothing happened. So
in a way, in many ways, this is worse. You're right.
I think in America right now with coronavirus such a fever pitch, I think something genuinely broken inside people that they think, "Wow, this can't happen anymore."
Exactly. I think there is sort of a degree to which this has been going on for years, as you say, and maybe it will take something drastic like tearing up businesses. I mean, they tend to be targeting larger stores, chains like Target.
Yeah, they tend to be charging.
Which it is a different thing to targeting small businesses and that sort of thing. I don't know. I think I think all of this stuff about don't destroy businesses, use legitimate means. Well, that's been tried, hasn't it?
I think the big issue. I feel like this is probably too serious, like any the comedy show. But the thing with using sort of legitimate means of protest is people get angry at them anyway. When you saw Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, like that. I mean, that's like the least offensive thing you can do. Say no, absolutely no one's hurt by that man taking a knee.
Exactly.
He lost his job. He was hounded out by the media. There's no winning in situations.
Exactly. We tried kneeling, and it didn't work. We've got to.
He's been brought up a lot for that. For that legitimate means don't work.
It is, yeah. I don't know. I think there is. I think there is nuance, and to be had, and it is the sort of thing that probably, the cultural gap between England and the US is everyone. It's become a bit of a cliche, but it is massively different. But from this side of the pond, sort your police out.
Yeah, she looks a bit mental. Just be normal. Have an acceptable police force.
Yeah, maybe don't do racism. There we go. We've solved it.
Not 2020. We've
solved
racism.
it. Great. Okay, moving slightly, shifting the focus. Trump. We have to talk about Trump. We've avoided it pretty much for 5 weeks, and that sigh.
I say congratulations on doing a news show for 5 weeks without mentioning Trump. That's hard. Thank you.
Not on a news story about him. I'm sure we've brought his name up once or twice.
We might have invoked him.
I mean, that's of course you're going to mention Trump occasionally. Yeah. But not doing a story on him. It's like
Yeah.
Even on Insight, I just have a section called Donald Trump that I just don't change every week.
Because he's an absolute gem for news, basically. But I am glad I didn't put that massive bet on him winning this year's election, which I was going to place.
Oh dear.
Because it was like the odds were pretty so in his favour, but in February that when I was looking to do it. I was, I was gonna. You would have had to have put, $1,000 on to make anything worthwhile. Yeah. Not that I was going to put $1,000 on, but you'd make a tenner from putting 50 quid on
just
that.
Put your whole
the odds were just so in his favour. That was honestly, the best odds I could find.
You know what? If I'm Joe Biden, I'm marveling at my luck right now. Like Bernie Sanders went to that primary. Noah Keats here. Noah said,
I saw that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noah. I noticed that, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
I actually can fix that. I'm so tired. I didn't even notice.
Again, we're just a warm up for his show.
We're happy with the free advertising, or Alternatively, dragging your good name through the mud, whichever way you look at it.
Probably more the latter, but it works.
Yes.
Yeah, I think. Oh God, no! I was just trying. What was it? Yeah, Joe Biden. He went into the American primary. Bernie Sanders basically should have won that primary, but he threw it away with a terrible strategy that didn't ended up not working, and a lot of my factors went against him as well. But also, and then so yeah, that was really lucky for him. Then coronavirus happened, and that tanked the economy. And now Trump lost one of the only good things he had in his favor, which that the economy didn't really sink after Obama left. And now this has happened, and Donald Trump's just throwing away credibility every single second.
It's mad. I mean, I feel like he has been throwing away credibility every single second since he's been elected.
Yeah,
but now
it's easy to underestimate some people's unwillingness to move away from him, though, because we've seen him do stupid things.
I think finally, people who've stuck with him through other things, finally, it's becoming more noticeable. It's beginning to affect them. The elderly, for example.
Yeah.
Obviously, very much some of the worst hit. Yeah. The elderly and the unemployed, the poor are the worst hit by the crisis. And those are the disenfranchised people who voted for Trump in the first place, mostly, and now he's abandoned them. He'd abandoned them before, but now they're realizing that he's abandoned them.
He just pushed them even further away.
Yeah, agricultural workers are also in trouble directly because of his policies. Yeah. I think there's a real chance we could be seeing Joe Biden president.
Much more than I expected at the beginning of the year.
The interesting historical parallel that I saw The Economist drew is between Biden and FDR. Now it's one that he's not outright said, but he's quietly trying to shift it into get that FDR association. He came in. He was seen as a sort of like a nice man, but not really president material. Yeah. He was coming in after a very popular Republican president who had recently seen a crash in ratings because of the Depression. Here is coronavirus, but it's the same sort of thing. And he hosted his fireside chats, that sort of thing, going across the country. And Biden has been broadcasting similar, things that are very similar in style to that from his basement since he was for the nomination. I think he has a real chance. I think he does. And,
interestingly, something I saw between the two, because obviously Trump's got in a lot of trouble with his whole social media hissy fit that he threw, because they fact checked his thing, and there's all the executive order stuff that he's kicking out because there's that law. There's the law that protects protects social media companies.
It has
interestingly, what I was saying was that as publishers. Interestingly, what I was saying was in the previous presidency under Obama, spearheaded by Biden, there was also an attempt to remove the legislation that protected social media companies, the same one that he has a problem with.
Really?
So that could be in danger, because if that has support across the aisle,
I think the thing we saw before was that it was something they explored, and maybe either they gave up because they realized this was a bad idea, or they gave up because
I don't think it's going to go well if they pushed it again.
That's mad. I did not.
I think they're smart enough to know it wouldn't be popular,
but then if they do pass it, then no one's going to have an outlet for it.
Yeah,
so
can't complain, can you?
Yeah.
No, I imagine if Donald Trump doesn't win the election, I don't see that picking up steam again. Only because
probably
not. The fact that he's done it now has dragged it from a bunch of Democrats, and they're all gone. Oh well, this isn't something we want to happen now. So it's going to be hard.
It's like mission accomplished. It's ruined for the rest of time.
Yeah. No, I mean Biden. I think it probably goes without saying that he maybe is better than Trump, but I think. I still don't know if Clinton would have been better than Trump, but we won't go into that. But Biden, he's still a dodgy fella. There is no getting around that. I mean, there's all of the allegations.
Bit handsy potentially.
I don't think they're implausible at that level. I'm sure he, has a degree of integrity, but you don't get to that level of politics without, getting your hands dirty, do you?
No.
Yeah. Well,
Especially in
I know
America.
that's not an original observation. I'm just saying that Biden's no saint either.
Yeah.
You are allowed to dislike.
Yeah. The ultimate problem you have is whenever you get to that sort of level of presidential politics, it requires a type of person who would, in lots of other situations, you'd be like, I don't want that person to be involved in running anything. But because of the number of factors involved in running for president, are just so many terrible situations that you might as well fine, you can do it. No one else is going to turn up for a job.
Yeah.
You'd rather have someone you mildly dislike, but you think will do a good job, than someone you think is genuinely awful and also will do a bad job. So that's how it has to shake out in the end.
Yeah. Anyway, that got heavy for a bit.
It did. I can get things away from the serious if you need.
No, please do. Please do.
Okay. So in India, officials being some villagers, but apparently it's officials, they may have checked up after this, have caught what they claim is a Pakistani spy pigeon. And I was thinking, that's been spying on rural India through coded messages.
Right.
So some villagers in.
I'm not sure I fully registered that.
So in Pakistan-controlled Kashmir, have caught a pigeon that had a ring on its leg, and there is now a official investigation into Pakistani spy pigeons being used in the Kashmir region to get secret messages to Pakistan and back. Because that's the most efficient way currently, is pigeons and not the internet.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, screw satellites.
There are no covert ways of moving information. After they caught it, they brought the pigeon straight to the police after it flew into a woman's house from Pakistan. Had a ring on its leg.
And they beat it.
Well, they might have done. Some people call it a coded message, but in the area, people tie numbers to the legs of pigeons so they know who the owner is.
Right. So it's either a spy pigeon or someone out there is very worried right now that
what this is just India, either local or state government, saying, we've not been on the brink of war with Pakistan for at least a week.
The pigeon.
What's the weirdest way we can start a thermonuclear war? Oh, I know. Let's start it over a pigeon. That would be great.
So almost certainly someone's pet pigeon has escaped, has been caught, and some villagers have freaked out, brought it to the police, and now they think it might be spying instead of someone's poor pet pigeon who's going to die now. Which is just not particularly nice.
No.
I knew we were lightening things up, but there's the chance of thermonuclear war. So moving onwards, imagine hypothetically.
Oh, no, that is light.
This is a hard hypothetical. Imagine you were Swedish. That's the first step.
Okay. Right.
Your Swedish government, and you know that annually in Lund there is a gathering of 30,000 people. How would you prevent this gathering in coronavirus times? You had to come up with a magical, preferably cheap way to stop 30,000 people turning up to Lund and having a party. What would your plan be?
Well, a cheap way.
Yes.
I don't know, probably I suppose if you infect them all with coronavirus before the event.
I'm going to take a guess that they want to limit infections as well.
Oh, right, okay. Whilst also.
It's going to make it difficult then. Jeez.
Oh, right. Oh, so pedantic.
No, don't want their people to die.
Wow. I wouldn't know. I literally, it's too early in the morning for me to be.
Any ways for you, Scott?
I'm so tired.
To stop a big old party, burn it down, fire.
Well, how about just spreading the entire area in 1 ton of chicken manure? Would that do it for you?
Well, I feel like a fire is easier. I think it's just a field. It hasn't
That's an absurd level of effort, though. Because imagine Imagine how many chickens you need to produce that much chicken manure.
Yeah, collecting.
Cut the chickens especially.
Philip Sandberg said a ton of manure will be spread on the ground to put a dampener on anyone thinking of turning up for Thursday's event.
And also, people just have to live there normally, though, right? People have to live in, Lund? So, all the people of Lund now, your entire town's been smearing chicken manure.
Yeah,
it's just going to smell terrible.
Yeah, because they haven't enforced lockdown in Sweden, but they still want to prevent people going out. So now they're just covering the area in feces.
Right. I mean, that's
letting it go.
Could you do that in other places? Could you do that like?
Can we do that at Warwick to prevent like criminals and lectures?
Playgrounds, for example.
No.
Well, I mean, this is actually something I actually found quite interesting. Looking up, they've not exactly chicken manure. That's very extreme, and I don't know why you would do that. But in some parts of the country where they have like natural beauty spots or like lakes and rivers and stuff, they pour a bunch of dye in it so it looks and smells terrible. So people don't show up, which is interesting.
Wait till it accidentally stays permanent and you've just ruined your place.
Yeah.
You love it.
Wow. That is great.
It was
a
perfect plan.
In other India news, I was going to mention this last week, but I didn't get around to it. I can't remember exactly what it was because I've lost the article. But essentially, India have locked down. Cheers, Enoch. India have locked down a. I can't remember what the state's called, but it's the state that basically almost encircles Delhi, so that their citizens won't be infected by the Delhi citizens. Unfortunately, it has also stopped supplies from going in. And the reason I mention this is sort of the equivalent of basically the home counties blockading London during the coronavirus. And so that's happened in India. And
it feels like they just burned. That sounds like they just burned and airlifted themselves. They basically just went, no one can enter. Yeah, that's absurd. Oh god.
Yeah.
Every day on this planet is just another.
Why did they do that when they could just surround Delhi by a ton of chicken manure?
Yeah.
It's so much easier.
Yeah. It's. I don't know why I was about to say it's exactly like that. It's nothing like that at all.
Exactly. Like that.
It's it is like the home counties, but or like I don't know, the state of Columbia. Is it Columbia blocking off Washington DC? You know, is it Columbia that they're in?
Columbia is not technically.
District Columbia.
No, the
district of Columbia. Yeah,
that's what I meant. Yeah. I know that because that came up in a quiz I was doing.
Very nice.
BC stood for Anyway,
I remember that because it was mentioned in A-level politics because there was trouble about them voting.
Ah, yes.
What a subject.
Trump. Do you know what? Trump talked about that the other week as well. Trump was like, "You can't make DC a state because it's basically just 2 more Democratic senators guaranteed, isn't it? No one's going to let that happen."
Of course he does.
Exactly. That's the thing with Republicans. Like, and there was this whole thing a while ago about the postal voting that was now quietened down a bit. But it was like there was that Republican governor who said, "No, that's not fair. We can't have more people." It was almost
we can't let people vote because they won't vote for me.
No. We can't have more people voting because we'll never get in. Yeah. Like, it's not good when that's the point. You've got to win voters. That's what democracy does.
No.
That's not a valid argument.
It's about letting some people vote and those people
a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Anyway. Here's a cool bit of news. Well, it's a bit of news that I find cool and no one else will, but I like it, and it's my show, so whatever. It's space.
That was quite aggressive, actually.
So yeah. Sorry, I'm very defensive.
Sorry, we weren't going to stop you. You could go ahead. It's fine.
I don't have my coffee. That's what it is. I didn't get my morning coffee. Anyway, SpaceX postponed a launch. They were going to launch 2 NASA astronauts earlier this week to the International Space Station. They postponed it, and it's set to commence this afternoon at 7:22 GMT. So I'll be watching that. Give that a watch, everyone
Let's
at
hope it
home.
goes well.
If you recommend it, there's nothing cooler than a space launch. Believe me, just take my. There isn't.
Okay.
That's just a fact.
I
And
feel like-
then after you've watched that, you can come to the Real Ale Society's pub quiz at 8 p.m. on Facebook live stream.
Yeah.
Are you going to win?
I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I've pre-booked that in actually.
I've pre-booked
I've
by winning.
paid the
No,
winning ticket.
if you do win, you have a chance to win a Real Ale branded glass. It's very nice.
Oh, I've already got one of your glasses, Scott.
Yes, yes, and I'm eternally grateful for swindling you out of that. Apologies.
There's a lot of spite and malice in that.
It's a great club.
Oh, there is. Oh, there is.
There is, but it's a great talking point over the dinner with family. The
Right.
dinner, yes, the dinner. I always
The
use the
dinner.
definite article before.
Yes.
Is it time for the dinner, Mama?
Mother, I'd like my dinner.
Mother, I'd like my dinner. Yes. Anyway, that's set tonight, and it's significant because it is the first time NASA astronauts will be going to the International Space Station since they discontinued the shuttle program in 2011.
Ooh.
So this is great, and
Yeah.
also it's good that NASA are getting back in the game because they've got to go back to the moon in 4 years, and that's not long away.
No, but the moon is also quite a long way away.
The moon is a long way away, and
Yeah.
2024 is not. So good luck to them. I can't wait for the Mars landing. It's
But you know what?
You could go.
I can't help but avoid the fact that if this was a movie, the bit where the two astronauts get sent into space during a mass pandemic would be exactly when everything started going wrong everywhere else.
absolutely.
And they're gonna-
Yeah. What
What if
what
they
kind of movie do you
bring
reckon
it to
would it be? A
the-
sort of Michael Bay style, the Cure is on the moon and we've got to throw it back to Earth.
No, but it
No.
was inside you all along.
No, it's going to be one of the situations where the world collapses while they're up there, and then they're going to be like, we're stuck. in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
place.
it like implodes.
How
They
do we
can't
get
home.
back?
I'm picturing more a sort of Wes Anderson film, where it's just like 5 astronauts stuck on the moon for 2.5 hours.
I'm sort of picturing
Played
the
by-
going
played
the other
by-
way with this.
Oh yeah.
What if one of them ends up actually having the coronavirus and then the International Space Station gets it? We can't
Becomes a
get him.
hotspot. Oh god.
Then
good.
it turns out it's like an alien thing. We'll put in like a xenomorph as well, just
An
to get
alien
clicks.
thing.
and
Yeah,
then
or
bam.
like a psychological
Yeah, you
thriller.
know what? I like it. Like, how many notes? I feel like if you start a pandemic and you get to alien thing, I know maybe the aliens like could be
And
killed.
then
You know what?
God
I'll
can come
email you
in at some
later.
point.
I'll email you
Space-
later about the script notes. We'll work on this.
Space
We'll workshop
vampires,
it.
how about that?
We'll
I
get in
think
contact with some people. We'll work on it.
I think we get. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think like TV series and stuff are going to have to like start when they do start filming again? They're going to incorporate the virus. Are they just? I mean, they can't ignore it. Surely, like soaps, I'd imagine they're going to have to.
I mean, some soaps
Oh,
are already
imagine-
starting filming again, but like they've been practicing new techniques with the camera to make it look like they're all standing next to each other, even though they have to stand
Yeah,
2
It's
feet
going to be
apart.
that Lord of the Rings all over again.
God. Yeah. Oh God, my mate insisted that I had to watch the latest episode of Doctors because apparently it has a great twist. I hate Doctors. It's the
Was
worst
it that
episode.
one of them was not a doctor?
I
My
yes,
guess for the twist.
yes. I don't know. Anyway, I've not watched it and I refuse to. And I suggest you boycott Doctors as well, so it gets
I
cancelled.
mean, I've
Uh,
been boycotting it all my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I don't blame
I
you.
even
Well, yeah.
boycotting it in my brain because I didn't
I
know
wish
it was
I
a thing.
wasn't aware of it, but my mother
what?
watches it religiously.
Very nice.
Yeah, and she has no taste. Then again, she likes the film Armageddon, where that Michael Bay film where they have to drill into a meteor or something. I can't.
You know what? I very ironically love that movie because I just love the idea that Michael Bay was sitting down and like Ben Affleck acting up to it was like, Michael, I don't understand. Why is it hard for astronauts to learn how to drill? And
Yeah.
for miners learn how to become astronauts. And Michael Bay was just like, shut up, just stop talking to me about my
Exactly,
life. I'm not
questions.
having this.
I absolutely love that.
What a
I
plan.
also like. I do sometimes like watching a Michael Bay film because they make me angry. But it's good to sit down. It makes your blood boil. Have you seen his Pearl Harbor one?
Pearl Harbor is generally one of the worst wastes of
It
time
is,
I've done in my
but that's
entire
the thing
life.
because he wanted it to be like his Titanic, didn't he?
That went well, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's got all of the hallmarks of Titanic, and you can see he just watched that. It's like, right, why can't we do like? There's a bit in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
There's a bit in Titanic where someone falls onto the propeller, right?
Yeah.
And there's a bit in Titanic. What can we do? I don't know. Someone gets launched by a propeller into a plane.
You can just guarantee that Michael Bay watched Titanic, immediately left and called someone, was like, I want to do a movie about a boat disaster, but I want to have fight scenes as well.
What's
so
the
just
most
having a movie about boat disaster where people fight at the same time. And
yeah. Well,
I can't name any other boats than Titanic. Can you?
Yeah, exactly. His cinematographer reported Michael was he said, yeah, Michael was going into this I'm going to change up my style, I'm going to do it a little bit differently, and I'm going to do all this. And he said within 10 minutes of being on location, he had gone back to sweeping panorama shots, the classic explosions, all the hallmarks of Bay schlep. It's great. Yeah, exactly. What a man. And he's richer than I will ever be, and he doesn't care how much I hate his films. So he's the one winning here.
Well, you know what?
You've seen the films you hate.
Keep saying it on radio. Keep saying it on radio, and eventually you're gonna get back to him, and he'll be upset then. I'm
sure he'll have a little cry, and I'll have to do an apology.
A tearful apology to
that
Michael
makes
Bay.
me angry. I don't like disaster films as a whole, though. Not that really is one. It's more of anyway. That doesn't matter. Not going to get into it. I'll get cross. Yeah, that's SpaceX news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jack, do you Enoch? Do you have anything else?
How do you guys like the mail system? That's a good question. Do you think it's an efficient system?
What you mean? System for posting things?
Yes, you post.
Right.
Not the Daily Mail. We all know the answer for that one. Do we like the posts? Do you think it's efficient? Do you often get things in an orderly manner?
I mean, I don't really get any posts. So
that's another potential answer.
I only ever get hate mail.
Have you ever experienced?
You might have a little bit of background noise from someone playing obnoxiously loud music outside my house.
10:52 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, they're. I think they're.
I can hear it now. It's elevator music.
It's fast car.
We're now a music show. Courtesy of Scott.
It's some quit.
You need to get him. Yes. You need to stop that right now because Facebook will take us down for copyright infringement in a second.
Get a knock on his door.
That's a good point, actually.
I'll have you know, Newsn't is filming.
Right. It's
Anyway, have you ever experienced having late letters? It can be quite annoying, can't it? Or even if you've not, I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah, I imagine so. I can only imagine so.
What if your letter turned up 52 years late? Goodbye, Scott. 52 years late. Janice Tucker, or on May the 10th, just got a letter from someone from the Vietnam War, which arrived 52 years ago. Not exactly what she was expecting. She wasn't. Contained a letter her brother William Lowe had sent to her.
Obviously. Sorry, carry on.
Well, the story. This woman has just received a letter sent to her during the Vietnam War. So 52 years ago. It was sent by her brother William Lowe to her, Janice Tucker, in 1968. And it has now arrived, which I'd say is pretty impressive timing. Because it's a long way from Vietnam.
I was going to say, that's quick.
Somewhere in America.
I have to say, honestly, you reach a period of I feel like there's a small window in which a letter's late, and that's annoying. But after any point after that, a letter being late is like, wow, it's impressive this somehow still got to me.
Yeah, but between 30 and 52 years, what's the difference?
At that point, you're like, wow, I'm almost. It's weird this took you this long, but also thank you for getting this to me. I don't know how you kept onto it that long.
Actually, not quite as bad as that, but we are. You can track your order and stuff and some things.
Yes.
My dad has ordered a set of. He's having his midlife crisis. Bless him.
As you do.
And he's ordered a set of lycra trousers to cycle in. And I'm so glad that they've not turned up. But he ordered them a year and a half ago, and they've been bounced between various Chinese post outlets. for the last. He's been watching them since like Christmas 2018.
It's probably better actually than getting the trousers.
Yeah.
He's got like an exciting pastime of watching strange.
He's got a new hobby, and that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, can I just say, Scott, you've absolutely baited your parents out on this show. You baited your mum out for liking terrible television, and then you baited your dad out.
Now like a trousers.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I'll just come off and he'll make a snide remark about my hair, and I look like the love child of Catweasel and Squidward, and then I'll say something about him looking like the result of an affair between Blofeld and Pinocchio, and then he hits me, and then we don't talk for weeks. That's what
you know what you should do. Ask him if you're the love child of was it Catgirl and Squidward? Ask him
Catweasel.
Catweasel and Squidward. Ask him which one he is. Is he Catweasel or is he Squidward?
Yeah, because you are his child.
I would, but that's where he gets he'll take his belt off. Anyway,
all right, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, he does. Yeah, he's a very nice bloke. He doesn't hit me. I know that sounds like me saying that makes it sound like he does more, but he doesn't.
Every second you spend lingering on this topic only makes this worse. I hope you know.
And he's never called me Squidward, only Catweasel, because he's got an equally large nose. So there we go. It wouldn't make any sense. And green skin, but what were we on? Post.
Yeah.
I think we've done post.
Oh, we've done post.
52 letters.
Yeah,
52 letters, 52 years. Wow,
we're in the post.
Impressive.
50, post-ironic, post. That's post-structuralism, post, all of those things.
Right. Well, I think we have about exhausted our, human interaction.
Have we seen, just before we leave, did you all see last night Trump trying to terminate the US relationship with who?
That was
no, I didn't.
That came out of left field. Well,
Trump sort of basically unilaterally declared that the US is defunding WHO, so not going to send them any more money.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a very sketchy proposition because obviously WHO isn't like just something Trump can pay for himself. It's a treaty in US law. So
that's not how that works, Donald.
Yeah.
But really, by the looks of things, it's faith saving because he claims he's doing it because they refuse to look into Beijing and how China didn't do enough with the virus, which admittedly that should be investigated because they did some pretty dodgy things. But it's basically like the problems in America can't be my fault because they messed up here. Yeah. Let's all look at them.
I love the idea that someone in the White House was like, oh yeah, you can just defund WHO. No, but he couldn't. And so he would just like declare it and then move on in his head. I'm done with that now.
Like, are there people sitting there just going, like, are there people telling him he can do this? Is it sort of like...
I think even if he's told, he'll just do it anyway.
He probably would.
Yeah.
Donald, you literally cannot do that. I'm going to do it.
Actually,
I will do it.
I've watched. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix. There's a new documentary about Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
I watched that this week. I watched half on Wednesday. I watched the rest last night, and it's very good, very well put together documentary. Trump, good mates, and they very strongly.
With you.
It's a bold move on the filmmaker's part because he very strongly they go out of their way to like have
there's some stuff we can't say on this show for certain reasons. But I'll tell you once the show's over.
Alleged is the word.
Alleged. Yeah, there's some alleged. Yeah, so once the show's over, I can tell you. But obviously, I can't say it on air. I don't want to. Yeah, but yeah. So.
But it is it is the sort of thing that's worth digging into on your own. But what I was going to say was there's one part where they have a pool cleaner for his island who's briefly a pool cleaner who quit, and he said he makes it very clear to say he saw Clinton there, and afterwards he said, I didn't see him doing anything, I only saw that he was on the island. They very heavily imply throughout the third episode that Clinton was in on it, or at least knew, which he almost certainly allegedly might not possibly did or didn't.
There's so much going on in that situation that it's jeez.
It's I didn't realize the extent of it, and I didn't realize how much Gilliam Maxwell, his wife or partner, was in on it as well. I didn't the extent to which she was, again allegedly, as much of an abuser as him. But anyway.
Well, that was our comedy news show.
Yeah, great.
Where
First thing full of laughs.
where we covered nuclear attack, police brutality, and
Pigeons.
and pigeons. Yes, pigeons. Thank you for watching, although no one is at the moment. Thank you for thank you for watching. Thank you for coming, Enoch. I know you're tired, and I do very, very much appreciate you coming on.
It was good. It was good. It was fun. It was a good way to start the morning. You know?
I'm glad you came. Get some well-earned sleep. Yes, and Jack, as always, you're here.
It's an honour.
Thanks for coming.
It's great to finally be on with you, Jack, because I've been watching the show, and you're always like, "Yeah, it's good to actually, be on the same show with you."
Likewise,
Yeah.
you're the famous Raw individual.
Yeah,
you're the one who was going to bring in the mini cheddar sponsorship for us.
Yeah.
I'm head of sponsorship. That's out of my hands. I can't. I don't control any of that.
We need to go higher, Scott. We need to go to the top.
God damn it, Enoch! Why do you think we're on the show? You're we got your anyway. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end the broadcast. Bye. Have a good week. Back next week. Join the Real Ale quiz. Bye.